Hi guys, so I wanted to do a video on BPD awareness and why I've chosen this topic. So this BPD is w- I would say the most stigmatized mental health uh, condition on the freaking planet because um, there's just no one wants to talk about it. People just want to shove it under the carpet. When you tell people about it, they don't understand. When you try to introduce them to literature, no one really cares. So I want to talk about the stigma. I want to talk about also why it's so stigmatized in the first place, whether it's amongst mental health professionals, whether it's amongst people who've had to deal with it. I understand that people who've had bad experiences with people with BPD feel are not denying the validity of your pain, the validity of what you've gone through. But then again, when someone compares it to narcissism, there is a huge difference because while prolonged and consistent trauma is the reason why BPD has developed in the first place, then again, which is similar to why I believe narcissism develops. Then again, people who have BPD, um, it's coming more from a place of anxiety times a million versus coming from a desire to try to control people, to try to dominate them, to try to crush their egos, try to crush their spirits. It's coming from severe pain, severe beyond what most people can comprehend. So I think that if you are in a relationship with someone, yes, you do have this moral obligation, if it is a serious relationship, to tell them about it. But from what I've seen with friends, family, reading studies about it, usually telling people doesn't really help. I feel like everyone, the general public, is not entitled to know about your mental health because they're not going to really understand. They're not going to take it in a way that helps anyone. People are usually going to talk about you, and most people, for the 99%, they're not going to understand. For the few who do, there nothing constructive is going to come out of it. It's going to jeopardize your chances in your career, in professional pursuits, in society in general. Unfortunately, because of the society we live in, people don't really understand. They don't really feel compelled. You do have a moral obligation, I feel, to tell the person you're with. You can try to introduce them to literature. You can try to tell them how it works for you, but usually people sort of, if you are high functioning, if you are able to hide it, people don't really see that until they are really impacted by it. So usually they don't really go out of their way, whether they're friends, family, someone you're dating, they don't really go out of their way to know about it. And I do feel like you can warn them about it, and basically, you should. This is my perspective, of course. You should tell them that this is something, this is how it works, this is how it impacts me, this is how it will probably impact this relationship. But then again, um, I feel like you should have a partner who is on your side, who tries to do his own research and tries to understand what it is. But then this is my opinion, of course. As far as telling everyone all and sundry, there is no point because people are not really going to understand. They're going to see it through the lens of what they see it as, which is through their own experiences. And if they've not had any experience with it, they usually don't see it as something that's a thing until you go and do something like perhaps block your friend or something like that, which is very common in BPD, which makes people feel like, oh my god, what is happening? They might not want to be your friend anymore, which is fine, which is obviously their choice. They can, decide not to do that. Can decide not to be in a relationship with you. You can tell the person that this is a very serious thing. This is how it impacts me. This is how it shows up all the time in my life. It's a daily struggle, and at some point, it is going to impact this relationship. But whether how they take it, whether they decide to act on it, that is again up to them. You can try to keep reinforcing it, but then again, like whatever comes out of it, it just depends. Um, yeah, so you can just try to tell certain people who you're very close to, but then again, just because how mental health, there's so little awareness of emotions, it's really easy to confuse someone who has this with someone who is very evil, who's very narcissistic. But then it's again kind of abusive to assume someone's reality for them, to assume you know where they're coming from, what their intentions are, why they're behaving the way they are, to project like the clothes they wear, what I'm wearing right now, to project that, oh, this is happening because of this, whatever reason. I mean, people have their own reasons for doing things, and just by assuming that you understand where their experiences are coming from without knowing who they are, without talking about it, is just very unfair, and also like basically taking away their control to decide to own their own experiences is just a projection of how you are perceiving their experiences, which is again not fair to anyone. So people, there's so much conversation online about codependency, about depression, about PTSD, and I have talked about all of these things on my channel. But I've talked a lot about narcissism, I've talked a lot about depression, attachment styles, um, and I know myself how I'm qualified to talk about these things. I don't feel obliged to justify to anyone why I get to talk about it, how I know what I know. Um, if you don't like how I speak, what I speak, you can exit my channel. I'm not entitled to clarify myself. I'm not entitled to justify myself. My channel is my space. If you don't like it, feel free to leave. No one is keeping you here. No one is binding you. No one is making you force watch this video. So everyone's entitled to their opinions. I get it. But then again, like if you don't like it, I'm not entitled to change, and I'm not going to edit my life for anyone. Not going to edit what I say, what I believe, and you know, maybe this isn't the right channel for you if you have a problem with whatever I'm talking, whatever I'm wearing, however I'm doing it. If you find it whatever, like you find it, you know, it is what it is. So just want to throw that out there. Of course, when I know I go into BPD, there's a reason why mental health professionals, insurance companies, people don't want to talk about it. Popular literature, people's experiences, mainstream media has done it a huge disservice, as it usually does with a lot of mental health issues, by trying to like use the glamour aspects of it, the sexual aspects of it, by like ridiculous movies. I don't even want to dignify them by taking the names, but I know exactly what they are, and I can think of what they are. I know their names. I don't even want to bring them into this conversation. But then I feel like because it's so taboo, because it's so controversial, because there is the stigma, because I am a nonconformist, because I believe in talking about the things no one else wants to talk about, because I'm a writer who believes in talking about trauma, the hardest, most difficult parts that no one wants to tackle. Sure, codependency is difficult. Sure, people who are in it tend to be angry, tend to be frustrated, drained, all these things. But then, it's like everyone's doing it, everyone wants to talk about it. Yeah, it is the thing that affects a lot of people. But then, what about people who have BPD that no one wants to talk about because it is so stigmatized? What about them? So I know that once I start talking about it, there's going to be like a gazillion people online who are sitting behind their keyboards who cannot even have like profile pictures because they want to hide and they want to talk about, um, they want to take down because of their own experiences or whatever they've been exposed to with regards to, they want to take down people who are talking about it, to question their sanity, question their credibility, question their objectivity, question so many things. It's so easy to do that. But what is the hard part is to actually talk about these issues, to bring them to light, to create awareness, to give hope to people, to show that these people are not monsters. They have empathy. They have a lot of things to contribute. They have creative gifts. So while I want to tackle codependency, I want to tackle depression, tackle PTSD, tackle insomnia, and I have in subsequent previous videos. I will in the future as well. Again, I feel like things that are the most taboo need to be addressed because our society needs to stop being so freaking fake. Needs to stop being so fake, hiding ourselves, going with the mainstream, going with whatever people are talking about. Everyone's talking about how there's like a revolution coming. Yes, I believe there is like a spiritual awakening, consciousness revolution. But then everyone is trying to get on this bandwagon as well and trying to go with whatever is tried and tested. And here I am, I'm trying to break that mold. I'm trying to do things that very few people are talking about apart from, I don't want to take names. Some people are talking about it, but they're talking about it in a very, very negative light. And I feel like it is a huge disservice to, of course, like you're entitled to your opinion. You've had bad experiences, I get it. And that's how you filter, that is your frame of reference to see this BPD thing. But then again, people deserve more. People are in pain. And just because you don't understand where they're coming from doesn't mean you can just attack them and that you should. It's really easy to sit back and attack people, especially if you're behind your keyboard. In real life, it's harder because, like, when you attack someone, you know that you're going to be counterattacked. But then when you're behind a keyboard, it's like, you know, the other person cannot really say things back to you. So, um, yeah, I think that's all I want to talk about. But yes, I knew that I talk about these things. That's why I didn't talk about a lot about BPD in the past because I was worried how it would affect me professionally. I was worried how it would affect people's perception of me. I was worried about it being a taboo, a stigma, and yes, I am still worried about all those things. Um, but I just want to put myself out there. I want to take this space, this opportunity, this platform to talk about things that people don't want to talk about because, like, no one wants to risk their own reputation to talk about things that it's very easy to talk about narcissism, talk about um, sociopathy, psychopathy from a very clinical, detached perspective, but it's harder to talk about things that affect you personally because they have meaning attached to them, have emotions attached to them. So listening to someone's opinion that doesn't align with your own takes a lot of courage, takes a lot of vulnerability. So I urge you to at least give someone who is trying that, that kind of respect, that kind of honor, because their experiences are not yours. And you don't have that right until and unless you are able to listen to someone, and for that you have to like leave yourself behind, and that is very, very difficult given we have our egos, we have our defense mechanisms, we have our experiences to be able to do that. So I know I'm gonna put myself out there with this. And I really know that for the most part, it's not gonna work out the way perhaps I wanted to, perhaps, But yeah, I'm doing a lot of reading research on this topic and I want to share that. And even if it reaches someone who is like impacted by this, whether you're a friend, family member, or lover, whoever you are, or you are someone who has BPD, I just want to speak to you. I want you to be heard. I want your experiences to come to life. And while I'm doing that, I do want awareness to go out there because I know that a lot of YouTube is not talking about this. Because once you go into realizing how people perceive this, no one wants to talk about it. So, people do whatever how they want to do. So, I'm going to do the same. So, that's it for this one. So, peace out.